Good afternoon, gentle viewers. This is George from Ireland, and here I am outside Lancaster House in London. It's in Green Park, and it's but a stone's throw away from Buckingham Palace. If I turn the angle around, you shall see Buckingham Palace in the distance. Well, Green Park is a park of exceptional verdure, especially this time of year when there's been a generous autumnal shower of rain. It's the season of mellow fruitfulness. But anyway, back to the subject. I must not digress. Here again you shall see Lancaster House. The Queen is the Duke of Lancaster. For some reason they don't call her the Duchess, even though Duchess is the feminine title. It means the various estates up there that she owns. But Lancaster House, well, it's notable, for those of you who know something about Zimbabwean history, is Zimbabwean independence was negotiated here. From September till December 1979, there were representatives of various factions in Zimbabwe who met here. And Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So the white immigrant minority in Zimbabwe had controlled the country, and until the late 70s they refused to share much power with the black majority. They'd unilaterally declared independence in 1965, which is they'd said we're independent even though the United Kingdom did not agree. The UK's policy was NIMBAR, no independence before black majority rule. Anyway, so there was an irregular conflict there. Various black nationalist groups had started an uprising. There were a few black people who were in the government of Zimbabwe at the time. The country was called Rhodesia back then, and by 1978 Ian Smith, who'd led this breakaway, he'd ceded most of the power to the black majority. They had about 2/3 of the representation in Parliament. However, the black community in Zimbabwe is over 90% of the population. Anyway, finally these Lancaster House negotiations thrashed out an agreement between the Patriotic Front, which were the black nationalist organisations, and the Zimbabwean government, which had some whites in it and some moderate black nationalists. And that was that. And who was it? Soames, Lord Soames, was sent out to Zimbabwe, Rhodesia. It was known by both names at the same time, hyphenated, to be governor. He was sent out before the negotiations here at Lancaster House had even finished. Robert Mugabe was here negotiating on behalf of the Patriotic Front. His faction was called ZANU, Zimbabwean African National Union. The other group was called ZAPU, Zimbabwean African People's Union. ZANU and ZAPU had some animosity between them. ZANU was largely drawn from the Shona majority group, and ZAPU was mainly drawn from the Ndebele, or sometimes called Matabele, ethnic minority tribe. Anyway, they'd formed the Patriotic Front, ZANU and ZAPU, and that was that. But one of the main ZANU people, the day before, said they were going to refuse to sign. Anyway, Lord Soames had flown out to Harare, then called Salisbury, to take up his position as Governor-General before this was even signed. And he said that really was terrifying. He had to hide just how frightened he was. But anyway, Zimbabwe became a British colony again for 5 months whilst elections were organised. That was it. April 1980, the Union flag came down. The Prince of Wales was there for that ceremony. Rhodesia was gone. It became Zimbabwe. That was that. And there was black majority rule with Robert Mugabe as Prime Minister initially. Anyway, that's it. Unfortunately, it's not open to the public at Lancaster House. Incidentally, Kenyan independence was also negotiated there in about 1963. Well, I'll switch it off for now.